know if you're live until you see yourself up there, folks. I hope you're all reading me. Let me know if you do. I'm Michael Noland. Tonight is Tribal Forum number 103, where we're going to be introducing the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. All right? And this is a very interesting episode. First of all, I want to tell you, we already have bands inducted into this Mount Olympus Rock of or Hall of Fame. Okay, I don't want to Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, and I'll explain that in a minute. But also, did you know tonight, baby, is our anniversary?
I didn't until you told me. I was like, wow, oh wow, that went quick.
See, you marry a woman and she can't even remember the day you got married. No, of course, I'm not talking about
Michael.
our wedding anniversary. That one's an easy one, and that's about 6 months away. But no, this is the anniversary for the Tribal Forum, baby.
Woohoo!
The voice you hear is my wife, if you're a brand new member, and by the way, Radio La Princess, I saw that you signed up as a tribal chief.
She did.
My
wow,
goodness.
That's awesome.
Welcome. As a matter of
Welcome.
fact, I got a brand new video over there that was actually open to the public, but I announced in that video that I would be bringing that back. It was actually a members only video, and I used it to kind of promote tonight's stream. To tell you the truth, just to kind of give you the lay of the land on what we're going to do. And tonight, I got to tell you, there's already been some changes as I got deep into this. I was up until the early morning. All right, the sun was just starting to crack. I went back to sleep, got up, and did my hair. Yes, Gear Jam, and got on up here, you know. And the more I looked at this, we're going to approach this slightly different, but exactly in the same way. And I'll explain all of that in a minute. And of course, I'm talking about the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Now, I said that we already have some members in there. If you guys remember, a little over a year ago, well, let's go back 2 years. 2 years ago, this channel had the top 13 bands of rock, and I called it Mount Rock Olympus, and it was a list that I put together. All right, it included the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and a slew of other people. And then I decided, let's open this one up to the tribe, okay? And with the exception of the top 3 bands, everybody's position was on the line. And we had tens of thousands of votes in that series of polls. And so I even did a special video introducing the top 13 bands of Mount Rock Olympus, okay? Now, to give you an idea who those bands are, because you really do need to know this as we go through tonight, all right? And I'm hoping everybody sees this section of the stream before skipping to, well, let's wait till he gets into something interesting type of thing. But these are the 13 Mount Rock Olympus bands that are retroactively, as of tonight, the first 13 bands of the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Those bands are, number 1, the Beatles. Number 2, Led Zeppelin. Number 3, Pink Floyd. Number 4, the Rolling Stones. Number 5, The Who. Number 6, Deep Purple. Number 7, Black Sabbath. Number 8, Rush. Number 9, Yes, the prog rock band, Yes. Number 10, Queen. Number 11, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Number 12, Genesis. And barely making the list at number 13, but there nevertheless, Grand Funk Railroad. All 13 of these bands are now officially in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. By the way, did you notice out of those 13 bands, there's one band there that's not in the, I hate to even say this, Kimberly.
Really?
Well, I'm going to try it. The
Okay.
real Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as if it's the real rock.
The real.
Bullshit if it is. Oh, God, what a garbage
You mean
institution.
the paid for?
Well, that's why I have to do this, Kimberly.
Yeah.
That's why I have to do this. You know, I did this original thing of 13
Yeah.
bands, folks, right?
Yep.
And there's about 20 or 50 of you out there that just wouldn't let it go. You said, no, we need to create our own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think I made the mistake of saying, what I ought to do is do my own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they just wouldn't let it go. And they've really been pushing me in the last few streams quite a bit, or the last 6 to 10 streams. Been getting a lot of energy from you guys. And so that's what even tempted me to take on this nearly impossible task. Now, there are going to be criteria to this whole thing, but the one band that's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this list and is in ours is Grand Funk Railroad. So, neener, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, John Sykes. You guys can't get your asses out of the... Anyway, so that's why we're doing what we're doing today, folks. And I want to talk about how we're going to go about this and the changes to what I announced in my last video. So it's essential that you see this stream to really be updated in how we're going to handle that. I did want to make a correction on one of my latest streams. I said that Not Your Stepping Stone by the Monkees was written by Neil Diamond. It wasn't. I got the other one right, but that one was written by Boyce and Hart. And as a matter of fact, Boyce and Hart, they're not on any list I have tonight so far, but there's a couple of fellas that would be an interesting nomination into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were behind the scenes all the time and had a hit or two themselves, right? So what do I mean by this being the first annual Rock and Roll or Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? Actually, it's the second annual because we have the 13 bands. Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been doing this for decades, and I don't want to sit here. I can't guarantee I'll be here for decades, and so we need to give this this Rock Hall of Fame, we need to give it a shot of adrenaline. And so I've changed a couple of rules, okay? First of all, I said in that video that this would be, I was running a 40-part poll with nominations. I have 2 of those polls out. It will not be a 40-part poll. It will be a 26-part poll. Okay, I've cut it in half. And the reason I did that is because in order to keep the voting going right up to the last bit, I didn't want to include any quarterfinals, semifinals, or anything like that. So that change means that in a week from now, if that poll is still going, because we're going to take our time with this one, you can still be voting on the current polls that are out right now. Now, I'll go over those for you real quick. Part 1, all right, we have parts 1 and part 2. Part 1, which of these prog rock bands do you believe should hold a spot in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? Part 1. And the nominees were King Crimson, Kate Bush, the Moody Blues, and Alan Parsons Project, or the Alan Parsons Project. Part 2 had the same exact question, and the nominees were Jethro Tull, Kansas, Styx, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Now, right now, currently, this does not mean that these are the winners, folks, because this poll, especially these early parts of the poll, will be up for a long time. So if your particular nomination is behind right now, there's still time for them to catch up. I would encourage you, let anybody you know, hey, go on over there and vote on his damn poll. because Kate Bush is not doing as well as I want her to, right? So in that first part one, the leader so far is the Moody Blues with 42%. At one time, they were at 51%. So, and the main reason is that the Alan Parsons Project, which is in third place so far, gained a whole lot. They were at like 7%, and they've started to gain 12%. And of course, King Crimson gained a bit as well. They're at number 2, 38% right now. Is that 38? It is 38. Okay. So right now, and I'll explain why the top 2 votes are very important here. In the second part of the poll,
Oh my
Jethro
goodness,
Tull.
hon.
What's that, babe?
Natalie Angelo just came in with a super thing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank
Well, let me
you,
scoot
Natalie.
on over there real. Oh, I was
that's
over there,
so
but I was on the
nice.
wrong page. Let me get
So
back
nice.
here.
Thank you, Natalie.
Oh yeah,
Aw.
definitely. I appreciate it so much. Let me see what she's got here. Oh, a $5 super
Yeah.
thanks, and she doesn't say anything. That's cool. It's good to see you, Natalie. Always. I
Awesome.
love the little
Yeah.
icon. What is that? A paintbrush? Yeah, it is a paintbrush.
Yeah.
We're all painting our masterpiece tonight. We really are, folks. Thank you so much for that, Natalie. I do appreciate it. Now, I want to keep this in with the post. I was on the second part. Right now, leading is Jethro Tull with 45% of the vote. Number 2 is Emerson, Lake and Palmer with 31% of the vote. Styx, who was in last place, has increased a bit with 13% of the vote in third place, and Kansas drawing up the end. Oh, my Kansas. At only 11% of the vote. Now, why do I make so much focus on the first 2 spots? Remember, I'm not going to be doing a 40-part poll. This is 26 parts. There will be 8 nominations for each subgenre. I'll get to that in a minute because that's part of this whole thing, okay? But in this case, parts 1, parts 2 are the nominees this time around for the greatest prog rock bands that deserve to be there. And let's say that these percentages hold, all right? They may very well not hold. But if this was sometime next week when I do all the tallying, then this means that the Moody Blues, King Crimson, Jethro Tull, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer would be inducted. Because I'm going to take the top 2 vote getters
Oh my goodness.
of the poll. And that's how we're going to bring them in.
Beast LVX just came in with a super thing.
Oh, goodness
thank
gracious.
You, Beast. You're always so wonderful.
Deuce, it's always good to see
Yeah.
you. Let me see what he's got here.
Yeah.
Oh, somehow I clicked on to one of my videos.
Oh, how nice, Beast.
Okay, there we go.
He's saying what you like to say.
What's that?
You know, the deuce hammer.
Oh, yeah.
He says, the deuce is throwing the deuce. Power of 2, baby. Amen, deuce. Thank you.
Yeah. I just
that's so
noticed,
nice.
if it seemed like I was lost in thought there for a moment, folks, I just noticed I don't have my fire going on. And
What?
I
Yeah.
did have that going on. I don't know why it is off. According to this puppy, yeah, I don't know. Oh, geez. We'll leave it blank for tonight. All right, so that's what's happening so far. So why 26 parts on this? Ask yourself that. Why are we doing a 26-part poll? Where did he come up with that number? Part of it has to do with how many inductees I can include in a poll. Back in the day, we could include up to 5. That really made some very interesting polls early on. But then YouTube changed it. You only have 4 options, okay? So a lot of polls had a part 2 or a part 3 just to get the bare bands in. And then on top of that, what I wanted to do is to include 2 chances, part 1, part 2 for prog, okay? 2 chances for every subgenre of rock that I could think of. Now, here's the deal. Anything, and Kimberly, if anybody has any suggestions on kind of moving this poll around or what they'd like to see, do a screenshot on that.
Okay.
Because we're very early in on this, and I'm telling you folks, I'm going to take my time with this one. We'll be covering this every stream for at least a portion of the stream. I may have a major thing I want to talk about, but I'll keep you up to date on what's happening with this and remind people how we got here and do it. I'll kind of figure out a 3-minute spiel and then go over any changes that are going on and everything. I really want to get a good reflection from you folks on what you think. We're almost at my last check. We might even be over it by now, but almost at 1,000 votes on part one alone. And we were getting close to 400 votes just a few hours after for part two. All right, so there's plenty of time to get involved in this, but not forever. Keep that in mind. So what are these subgenres I'm talking about? I mean, see, part of my problem with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they don't honor certain subgenres very well. Ask anybody in heavy metal, right? Or certain kinds of heavy rock, for that matter. Or any type of style that has currently gone out of favor, they barely give notice to. And that's not, to me, reflective of rock and roll. Now, first of all, there is one criteria. All of these people have to have had their stuff going by the year 1955. And we're going to cut off temporarily the nomination at about 2005. Okay, so you're not going to see Rival Sons tonight, okay? But I'll explain that because I may be changing subgenres that we'll be able to include to get new rockers in, but there will also be a minimum set of requirements. So many albums out, so many sales, things like that. If we're going to bring in newer bands this early, because see, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that 20-year rule that they have, locks out a lot of talent. The early people got in really good. Then by the time they caught up, half of the people in the next to early period weren't looked at. And by the next time, those people weren't being looked at because it was the third period away from the early period. And they ran out of juice quickly. And then on top of that, them including, in my humble opinion, if you disagree with me, that's fine. This is the Tribe's Hall of Fame, okay? You guys are going to have a ton of a lot to say. You know those 13 bands that I just read off? Those 13 bands had 4 or 5 bands on that original list of mine that just got voted off the islands. Okay, so I wasn't extremely happy with that, but then I started looking at what the Tribe showed and what they came up with, and I was happy with it. Okay, so we all have what we deep down inside, those guys. I'm a super fan of those guys. Those guys need to get in. Under any circumstances, those guys must be on Mount Rock Olympus, whoever those guys are. And I can understand that because on my original list, I'm trying to think who got, well, Steely Dan was on my top 13 bands. All right, got voted right off, right out of there, right out of the park. So that's just an example. There were at least 4 of my bands that didn't make that list. And guess what? Those 4 bands are back into contention now. Whatever they are, I've got some examples of where we might go. Also, Kimberly, would you be sure? Any suggestions of people? Please let me know the name of the act.
Yeah.
Okay? Should go on. Just add that. Let's say the Electric Prunes. One of you said they should be in this in an early discussion on my last video. Okay? So if you want the Electric Prunes in, then let us know. And then Kimberly will be taking some screenshots of that because that'll have a lot to do. See, I have a bare list of these or a thought process about who I want to nominate here. And I mainly went on what I wanted in those first two parts and bands that I know from key members out there, key viewers who have told me, oh yeah, this is too bad. That's why Styx and Kansas made it right in, okay? Because they've been disserviced all over the place historically. So let us know bands that you like. You can do that at any time. Kimberly, just kind of keep it to short of field around the comments, unless there's two, that, so it's easier for me to find, okay?
Okay.
All right, because that will go in. If I get enough votes for the electric prunes, and the electric prunes isn't on my list, one of my lists goes off and yours goes on.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness, who's
boy.
this? Oh,
Just
Dan.
the facts, man.
Oh, Dan,
Dan, you're always
$20.
so
Thank you, brother.
sweet.
Can you read Dan's super thanks for me,
I sure
baby?
can. Dan says, I think the Mount Olympus Hall of Fame is a great idea.
Thank you,
The
Dan.
award trophy could be called the tribal. The tribal.
The tribal.
Yeah, I like that,
Yeah.
Dan. I like
Nobody
that.
will come between me and my tribal.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Oh
That's
boy.
great.
You know, one can only dream, right?
I know.
But a lot of this, it's not tongue-in-cheek for me, folks. Everything I do, I'm real serious about. A lot of people are probably looking at me right now going, who the fuck is this chump? Daring to take on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, my name is Michael Noland, and I dare whatever in the hell I want. Okay? And so does the tribe, damn it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
You think I'm bad. Some of these guys in the peanut gallery.
We've got
woo.
the best tribe. Are you kidding?
Oh, God, they're monsters,
This
baby.
tribe rocks. This
Oh,
tribe
absolutely.
vibes.
And
boy.
I have faith in you folks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Because when we get down to some of this, Kimberly and I were fooling around doing sound checks like we're doing an intro type of thing. Those are always better than when I actually get on and do my intro. I wish I could just tape one of those and put them up and then show me clicking up or whatever. And we were talking about people we disagree with.
Yeah,
and there's
I
a
know.
whole lot of folks that are going to disagree on this. Okay? So keep this in mind. First of all, we're going to go subgenre by subgenre. Hip-hop and rap ain't one of them. And so if you've got enough hip-hop and rap and yet you've got your traditional guitar, bass, drums, and it's so much over to that, that's a question mark, okay? But you're not going to see an LL Cool J in the poll. You're not going to see a Missy Elliott in the poll, a Dolly Parton in the poll. But I've already run into
Yeah.
one questionable
Or
name.
Mariah Carey.
And we've got to be you brought her up, didn't you? You did that.
Oh my
you're
God.
shit disturbing, aren't you?
Michael and I, we disagree about. I love Mariah Carey's voice,
Mariah's scary.
and I think she's awesome. And
Oh,
Michael,
good.
Michael hates Mariah Carey.
With a passion.
Oh my goodness, hon.
Okay.
Mr. Royce in the house.
Hey, Royce, how you doing, brother?
He just came in with a super.
by the
nice-
way,
oh, thank you, Royce.
I
You're
wanted
always
to-
so wonderful.
I wanted to point out that Dan is one of the brother channels to this channel, Just the Facts Man. And I caught you today on James's stream showing your documentary, Dan. I can't recommend that documentary anywhere enough. Just the Facts Man. Click on his thing. I've got a couple of links on my last couple of streams pointing you to that exact documentary. It's not very long. It's 50. It's a mini doc. And he went to England and he visited Birmingham. That town has set itself up wild over Ozzy and Black Sabbath for that matter. And it's a really great mini documentary. So go over there and watch that. And of course, Royce, the Four Horsemen, right, is the brother channel. I think Royce and I met Dan through Royce. So Royce and I already had a connection by the time I met Dan. And I'm going to be on his panel tonight. He's going to be talking about, and I've talked about this many times in the past, sometimes it's the stuff of that makes up my videos. And of course, that's bands that are planning to tour in 2026. And I can only imagine some of the bands we'll be discussing tonight, and not everybody's going to agree with me on that either, any more than my wife and I agree on Mariah Carey, or what's the other one you like a lot that you know? And they're great. I guess they're great. I guess
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion.
I love Celine Dion.
Oh,
Come
God.
on.
Yeah.
They both,
You're
Mariah
hurting me,
Carey
baby.
and her, have amazing voices.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
Celine, more of a great vocalist, I think, than
It's just easy
Mariah.
listening, you know.
And there's some stuff by Celine, but I would never want it. But you think they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, where else would they be? They're not country, are they? I mean,
Well, oh, what? There's no room in the inn,
They're
and so we
like-
got to let them into our clubhouse?
it's pop.
Is that it?
It's pop music. You
Oh,
know.
come on.
It's pop.
Yeah, and there is going to be a category for pop rock.
Yeah.
Okay? But when I hear Celine Dion, I do not hear Badfinger.
Yeah.
I hear a completely different
Caitlin
genre
says
of music.
Celine Dion and Whitney Houston are her personal favorites, so I'm vindicated, huh, Caitlin? Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Caitlin rocks.
I absolutely adore Whitney Houston, and she would not be one that I'd like to see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Whitney Houston.
But I
oh
like
my
different
God.
genres of music, folks.
Silk voice.
I
yeah.
love Frank Sinatra, but I don't want him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay? So to me, it's a matter of placing it properly and bulking that sucker up to have some rock and roll muscle.
Well,
You know? I don't know. So here's, anyway, let's get down to the
I will go
subgenres.
with what the tribe decides. So.
Well, and that's what we're going to do.
That's right. The tribe
Now
decides.
watch him make a big deal about Celine Dion. You just watch him. Just to rip my teeth out right in front of you.
It's no shame to like Celine Dion or Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey.
Well, it is a shame to like Mariah Carey.
No,
but
no.
Whitney
love
Houston,
Mariah Carey.
at her prime, had one of the greatest vocals ever in pop.
God, Mariah Carey and Celine Dion.
And Celine's
Whitney,
great too.
They got me through my work days, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, was that what you were playing when I'd come into the kitchen?
Yeah,
there?
like Kaylin says, I want to dance with somebody.
Oh,
yeah.
good Lord. Oh, God.
I love
Kate,
it.
you are a shit disturber.
No, Kaylin is wonderful.
You know, I almost feel like
Don't you say anything about Caitlin, 'cause I won't put up with it.
they're turning on me, folks. The women of the tribe are turning on me.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I almost feel like Bogey, you know. And then there was the strawberry incident. That's when they all turned against me, you know?
Yeah.
That whole thing. What is that, Mutiny on the Bounty or whatever it was that he
Yeah.
put. Anyway, so here are the subgenres. I want to get through at least the subgenres and see if I can carve out enough time to at least cover some of what you guys are saying there. So the first one is prog rock, and I've got the two parts for prog rock. Each one of these 13 subgenres, okay, and some of them are tight, some of them are kind of potpourri, and I had to do that. So that explains why we're having a 26-part poll on this. There are 13 recognized subgenres, and by the time we do this again next year, or at the end of the year. It all depends how well this
my
does it.
goodness
And then we
sakes.
could catch up at the end of every year from that point on. I figured doing it on our anniversary almost counts as last year's
Salazar
video.
came in with a super thanks.
Oh,
JP,
my goodness.
Wow, thank you, JP.
Oh, and guys, you got to go over to JP's channel. Would you read JP's?
I sure
Yeah.
will. JP says, great idea. We definitely need Iron Maiden and Bad Company. Long overdue, he
Right.
says. I agree with you, JP Salazar.
I agree. And if
Excellent,
we had done
excellent.
this last year, you know what? Mick Ralphs might have even been around and he might have heard some scuttlebutt on the internet. Oh, well, this guy over there did his thing and guess what? You made it, you know?
Yeah.
I think he heard that he was on, but, you know. And if we had done it a long time ago, Boz would have known. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey,
But
yeah,
JP,
what about
you
Boz?
got to go over to
Yeah.
his channel. He's an awesome channel. I'm over there all the time. I'd say right next to Royce's channel. I poke up in there all the time. Whether I actually make a comment or not, I really have a lot of respect for the brother. I really do. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate
Woohoo.
it. Okay, so prog rock, number one. Number two, psychedelic / acid. Okay? All right, because this is a part that the real strong bands in this have done well with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the ones that are legendary but somehow haven't made it would have a chance in this type of sub-genre. Maybe not this time around, but see, it doesn't go away, and there's no LL Cool J. There's no Missy Elliott to stop. For example, in my current poll, let's say Kate Bush doesn't make it. She's in last place in her part of the poll right now. That doesn't mean she's not up for another nomination in the future. And if this goes well enough and we do this at the end of the year, then every year at the end of the year, we'll be doing this. Maybe right around the time the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame does it. So, and since they can't make up their mind between October and November, I might make that go fluid. But I wanted to get this initial flush going, and then we'll get more sensible with our polls. I feel like, see, what will happen here with 26 parts and 2 winners, we're going to get 52. Isn't that how it works? Yeah, 52 nominees out of this set of polls to add to the 13. All right, so because we started way after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to do some catching up. And and some of this is almost, no-brainer stuff, but we want the right bands to be, recognized for their place in history. So many historic bands have wound up being pretty much written out of history. A large part of that due to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. So psychedelic, acid rock. I'll give you an example. Jefferson Airplane might be on that. Iron Butterfly, the Electric Prunes. I mentioned them earlier. Even the Grateful Dead. I could see fitting into that. And some of these bands might fit into 1 or 2 subgenres. Okay, I could put the Beatles in psychedelic acid. I could put them in pop rock. I could put them in heavy rock for some of the stuff they've done. Right? So these aren't solid. You can't enter because no. If they've got enough output that matches up with this subgenre, then they're eligible. So keep this in mind. Now, as I'm going through this, keep bands that you want in. I'm just giving you some examples of who might go in.
The Family Stone, Jay.
Right.
Jay Clebands have Sly and the Family Stone. I agree.
Good to see you, Jay. Yeah. And they're on part of this as well tonight. I thoroughly agree with that. All right, so the next one would be soul / rhythm and blues. Now, all of these have to have strong ties to what would eventually become classic rock, or ties to a sound that would eventually become classic rock. There's got to be a DNA to this. I'll give you an example. I think of Diana Ross and the Supremes, their stuff coming out, the themes they deal with. Love Child comes immediately to mind. Okay, very rock and roll, played right next to rock and roll artists, but then so was Helen Reddy, and I wouldn't dream of nominating her into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But there is some kind of DNA I hear with Diana Ross and the Supremes. If you guys disagree, let me know. But it's a way of including soul and R&B, and yet not to let in the hip hop. Okay? Because I just can't go down that line, folks. That's the reason why I'm doing this freaking thing to begin with. Another one, The Temptations, The Fifth Dimension. You go, what you talking about, Willis? Hey, what about the Age of Aquarius? Right? Up, Up and Away in Your Beautiful Balloon. I'm telling you, when I heard that, I was up, away on my own beautiful balloon, and that was very psychedelic, okay, to me. So they would be Earth, Wind, and Fire, okay? the Commodores, but they have to have a strong tie to that where we're winding up. Classic rock, which to me, classic rock started in 65 through about 2005 if you're very gracious. Okay? But we're including 1955 because those are the prototypes of what became classic rock. But the idea is to honor the specific subgenre of classic rock here. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so next, this is the one subgenre that doesn't have a time limit. All of these other subgenres, they have to have been in business, have a career by 1955, and no later starting than 2005. And 2005, if you start in 2005, I guess you'd be eligible, but you'd have, after 2005, you'd have to justify that, okay?
Yeah.
You'd have to justify that with historical oomph, sales, more than one album, more than one hit type of thing, okay? Keep that in mind, but the blues is different, okay? And Royce is going to love that I'm saying this, because him and I are simpatico on this. You ain't got the blues, you ain't got rock and roll. Okay? Rock and roll is a redheaded stepchild to the blues, as far as I'm concerned. And so you can nominate anybody that is into that blues bass. You can go back as far as Robert Johnson. You want to go to Billie Holiday? That's fine with me. How about Blind Boy Fuller? Blind Willie Johnson, Willie Dixon, Howlin' Wolf, Albert King, B.B. King, Freddie King, the King, barrage. All of those folks. But it's a way to honor them, but not letting somebody else slide through their back door. Okay? Because if you don't have the blues, you don't have rock and roll, and the blues can even include the Americana side, but we're going to keep the Americana different from the blues, even though there's a lot of trade between the two, on the East Coast. But there is a delineation from the deep down South blues and the upper Appalachian blues. The beginnings are more European oriented with Appalachia and all of that. So the next one is blues-based rock, not because I don't want us all of a sudden to be nominating, Robert Johnson, Billie Holiday, and there's no room to nominate Derek and the Dominoes, or the Allman Brothers, or the Yardbirds, or Joe Bonamassa. I got to check and see how far back he goes. I got into him a little late, but he would be the type of artist we'd be looking for. I'm sure he goes back far enough. Government Mule, the Black Crowes, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, the Animals. Okay, so that will be almost, you're going to get what? 2 nominations from each group. So that gives us a nice thick core of what we want to accomplish with the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame here. Grunge, bands like Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilot, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, okay? I would say the Smashing Pumpkins, but they're more Chicago-based and kind of considered alternative. Although, to me, I listen to them just as much as I listen to Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, and Nirvana. Those were my 4 big kind of grunge, and I know Smashing Pumpkins aren't in there, but we're going to include them later, and you'll see why. All right? Then we're going to also singer-songwriters, and that could be the softer side of rock. That could be Cat Stevens, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Warren Zevon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Beck, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Van Morrison, Billy Joel, and some of these people could be in other subgenres. But this will be more of the guy, yeah, I'm Mike and I write songs and here's my latest album kind of folks. That's what I want to get across with that subgenre. Subgenre number 8, pop rock. Bands like Badfinger, ELO, although some would say ELO would be a candidate for prog rock. All right, and in the future, if ELO wasn't to do well here if they were nominated. I'm not saying they will be. It'll be largely based on you. These are strong contenders, by the way, for the nomination process. But all it takes is you guys to speak up, and I'll start switching artists. Okay? Plain and simple. I don't want it my way. I want it the tribe's way. I already let go of my way with the original list of 13. And I was perfectly A-okay with what you guys decided. So I have a lot of trust in you. Let's see. Not only Badfinger, ELO, how about Paul McCartney and Wings? All right? Stevie Wonder, Billy Joel, The Guess Who, Bachman Turner Overdrive. All right, they could also be in a rock category, but they also had a lot of top pop hits, you know. Tommy James and the Shondells, who could also be kind of over in the psychedelic acid part, or at least a portion of their career. They put out enough that would put them there. So keep all of this in mind as we go through. None of this is set in stone. Anyone now? Oh, yeah, and Rare Earth. I love Rare Earth. I love bands with a singing drummer. I always have. Okay, number 9, subgenre number 9. And this is one of the kind of based, you know, broader categories. And that's Latino, I should say. Latino / urban / horn-based bands. And of course, that covers a whole lot of territory. We could talk about, of course, Santana, War, either with or without Eric Burden, Chicago, Tower of Power, Los Lonely Boys. They're at the end of this. I think they make it. If their career started before 2005, nobody knows about them. I'm one of their few fans. Loved them. Three Brothers, Tex-Mex style rock and roll. I love it. Okay, they could be in this. Sly and the Family Stone, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Commodores again. See, they can move over. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Why not? I loved them. I collected their albums before I collected the Beatles. I had, 3 or 4 Herb. I just loved them. And to me, they're pop rock, but or pop Latino rock, pop / I don't know. But if you guys don't want them in, they don't get in, right? Number 10, I think I got all of 9, didn't I? Yeah. Number 10, hard rock / heavy metal. Of course, Led Zeppelin's already in, but they would be an obvious example of that. Foghat, Metallica, Black Sabbath's already in, but they would be an example of that. Uriah Heep. Hey, baby, did I mention Uriah Heep?
No,
Uriah Heep.
Uriah Heep, yeah.
What a great band, right?
Yeah.
Thoroughly ignored.
Absolutely.
My God. You know, guys, if you don't go back this far, let's see. Uriah Heep, I probably discovered them around 73-ish. Had to catch up with a couple of their albums. I had made the leap over to Led Zeppelin. I had already made the leap over to Black Sabbath even before Led Zeppelin, right? And my friend Co was turning me on to Deep Purple, and out came, Machine Head, and I retroactively see, this is back in the day, all right? 1973, I was 18 years old, still living on and off at home. By the end of the year, I would be gone. And so you had Zeppelin, Sabbath, and Deep Purple. They were the top band, but right underneath them, and everybody knew it at the time, was Uriah Heep. So I think they would be a good nomination. Who else do we have? AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, if you must. All right, but I got to be fair. Motley Crue. Oh, God, do I have to be fair? You know what? I deserve a tribal of my own just for including Motley Drool.
Motley Drool.
Well,
okay,
I'm sorry, Motley Fool.
Oh, yeah. That's just too easy, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Too
I
easy.
got a dozen of those. I've used on videos before.
Mariah Scary.
Mariah Scary. Oh, God.
My goodness.
Oh, if you're going to include everybody, you got dozens and dozens
Yeah.
of nicknames.
Michael
right?
has a nickname
But-
for everything.
But in hard rock, heavy metal would also be included Cream, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Jimi Hendrix Experience could also be over at acid rock.
Yeah.
Okay? But they would also include here Montrose. Oh, boy. Yeah. 2 great albums. So they'd be shy on material.
The Wonders.
But I saw them twice, and they're great with the classic lineup anyway. And Van Halen, of course. Megadeth, who Kimberly can't stand.
Yeah. No.
Right? Slayer, Anthrax. But if you guys must, they're there. Okay? Those types and many others. Then we go to the 11th subgenre, and that's 50s rock. You guys go, well, how were we going to get Bill Haley in the Comets? You know, how were we going to get Elvis in there? Well, Elvis is up to the line for that. The Everly Brothers, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bill Haley and the Comets, Fats Domino, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, Carl Perkins. Johnny Cash is the one guy I'm hesitant about. Okay, if we let one country guy in, then the next thing I'll be having people go, where's Dolly Parton? And yet, Johnny Cash is so damn rock and roll.
Johnny, I mean, that is organic.
I want you to
organically
take
rockin'.
screenshots of people saying yay or nay on Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny.
I really wanna, folks. But if I'm gonna really be fair, I mean, I listened to Johnny Cash right next to the Everly Brothers way before I ever heard there was a thing called the Beatles. You know, I loved them. And to me, they were the same kind of music. And if the Everly Brothers are rock and roll, and I believe they are, I think that's a no-brainer, then shouldn't the Man in Black be? Is he the one guy? Because then you go, well, if you're going to bring in Johnny, then you got to bring in Chris Christopherson, who I'm not sure Chris Christopherson wouldn't be included on this hit list.
Hey,
He started off
everybody is
more kind of
saying
rockish.
That Johnny Cash rocks.
Yeah.
So-
or do we put him in with the next subgenre? Okay, Eddie Cochran would finish that list. Gene Vincent. The
Yeah.
Platters? I don't know.
Who?
You guys let me know. The Platters.
Oh, the Platters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big vocal group. Loved them.
Love them.
Or we could we slip Johnny Cash in Southern country rock Americana? That's the entire thing. It's
Johnny
Southern
Cash,
country rock and Americana.
Like
you keep interrupting me. They won't
Sorry.
know what this is.
Johnny Z. Fradley says Johnny Cash is his own gem. So you can stick him wherever, he'll fit anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of his last recordings, Hurt.
Yeah.
He was covering, and I love those versions better than the original.
Yeah, he
Well,
rocked.
he's a personal, this. He's a personal hero of mine. I love Johnny Cash.
He is.
Some people are so into Elvis. I'm not. I loved early Elvis. I like some of his later hits.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
collect
like
his
some of it.
albums.
I like Roy Orbison better than
every
than
time.
Elvis. I'm sorry, I just do.
And
So,
I didn't put Roy
I'm a
Orbison
Roy
down here, but
Orbison
he would
fan.
fit into this
Yeah,
as
I
well.
love Roy Orbison.
Yep. Okay, so in this new Southern country rock / Americana, this is number 12, second to the last subgenre, folks. Leonard Skinner, Robert Plant, for what he's doing nowadays, would be up for a Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame tribal. I'm trying to get that name into me so that I can wear it. I feel it. It's got to be real for me, baby. What's that?
Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
Glenn Campbell was part
Yeah.
of the Wrecking Crew. I can't imagine any
Yeah.
freaking person, if not for his country stuff, maybe as a member of the Wrecking Crew. I hadn't even thought of putting the Wrecking Crew as a group because it really wasn't a formal band. And it changed the members. There's even disagreements with members of the Wrecking Crew as to who was in it.
Yeah, I know.
One member will go, oh, no, there was only about 12 of us. And another will go,
Oh,
there's
no,
a
they
good
rock.
17 of us. One and another will go, I can count up to about 29. So whoever would be in that, and that's another thing, folks. We're going to be at the end of this poll, then we're going to decide who in these bands are inducted.
Yeah.
For example, if Kiss comes out of this and gets inducted, then we're going to be facing the same old problem. Do we keep the 4 core members or do we include the new members? And all of that will be handled in a poll as well. That's too big of a decision for me. And I really want this to be a tribal thing. I've done this initial work. I want you guys to build this. I want this to be your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not mine, okay? And the more you give me help, the more input you give me, the better off you guys are going to be as far as getting what you want to happen. I listen to you guys. I spend hours and hours answering not just my reruns on the stream, but my regular videos and everything. What you guys have, that's kind of part of what this channel has to offer that a lot of channels don't. You know, you got some content creators will answer the first, 20, and then they're on to something else. And I am too, but I take time to connect with you people. You're important to me. And so I want this Hall of Fame to be yours. Yeah, babe?
The tribe, they are what makes this so great.
Right. I agree.
I mean, we have the best people.
We do.
In the tribal
and
forum.
some of the most knowledgeable people.
Yep.
I mean, we've got expert, choking smokers all over the place on this channel.
Yep.
You know,
That's
there's
right.
no doubt about it. All right, so we talked about Southern country rock / Americana. We talked about Robert Plant, Leonard Skinner, the Eagles, Bruce Springsteen, John Mellencamp, Black Oak, Arkansas, Charlie Daniels Band, Edgar Winter Group, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Government Mule, J.J. Cale, Molly Hatchet, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, ZZ Top. I mean, we're here practically at the end of the show, and we're just now mentioning ZZ Top. Did you know ZZ Top was in my original 13 bands? Yeah. This is one of the ones got knocked down. I think it was.
They're
that just all of a sudden hit me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then the 13th and final, and by the way, why 13 subgenres? To match the 13 bands. There were 13 gods on Mount Rock Olympus. A lot of you will be saying, wait a minute, Mount Olympus only had 12 gods. Yeah, but there was the third brother, Hades, and he'd come up and visit, and that's why we did it at 13. So I wanted 13 subgenres to match the 13 Mount Rock Olympus of gods, and those 13 will always be listed on my channel page. As we add more, some of you are suggesting, and we're going to talk more about that. How do we bring this to a new level? Other than just a poll and me occasionally mentioning it. And some of you have suggested a dedicated website that we could do this up good. Early discussions. Thank you for those suggestions. Like I said, I listened to you. And I'm humming and hawing about that. Because I would really like to put a nice, bouquet on the entire package. And the way that it's presented. Give it some class. Let me know what you guys think regarding that. All right, so the 13th one is the ever-evolving subgenre, I call it.
Yeah.
All right, this is where we get jazz rock, alt rock, ska, punk, reggae, okay? With strong ties to rock, of course, all right? We're not going to go, it's not like any reggae band in the world, but the ones that were closer with a rock and roll feel, rock instrumentation, a rock feel, a rock message, okay, it's good. But there might be, I don't know, I'm not an expert in reggae, but there may be styles, sub-styles of reggae that wouldn't be appropriate for it. Bob Marley and the Wailers is very rock and roll to me, okay? So, with all of that, it's got to have the strong ties. But bands like Bob Marley, Steely Dan, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Frank Zappa, The Police, The Clash, the Sex Pistols, Men at Work, Roxy Music, the Smashing Pumpkins. I told you
Oh yeah, Roxy
we would get to
Music.
them. Oh, Roxy's
Oh,
got
I
to get
love
in there.
them.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope Roxy does
Roxy
well.
Music.
Yeah. Just for Avalon alone.
Oh, just such a great sound.
And Love is
Oh,
the Drug.
it makes
Yeah.
you feel good.
Oh, God, fantastic. And they sang to me. It was Avalon where I finally settled down. I heard
Yeah.
about them, and then Avalon, I just loved the cover.
Oh my goodness, and the music.
And I bought it because of the
does.
cover, and I
It
went,
makes you feel great.
yeah, I couldn't believe it.
It's awesome.
I listened to it for like 2 solid days, took it over to my brother's house, and I go, no, Gary, listen, man.
Yeah.
I go,
yeah.
this is like a rock
Yeah.
band. If the planet Mars had developed its own civilization and came up with their style of rock and roll. It just sounded alien, yet,
Yeah,
oh.
but just a great sound.
And I loved his all suave, hi, I'm Brian Ferry.
I know, Brian Ferry, yeah.
You know, it just totally different, and yet exactly, he looks exactly like you picture Roxy Music.
Yep.
You know? Very strange.
Smooth sound. Such
yeah.
a smooth sound.
Others would, I said Men at Work, Smashing Pumpkins. Okay, Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode. You know I like Depeche
I
Mode.
I thought I had more than one album by them. I only got Annihilator because I heard Personal Jesus on it, and I loved it. I played the shit out of it.
Yep.
And when we first met, I played the shit out of it. But then it fell by the wayside after that, and I never got back into them. But man, you know, a different approach, different kind of band.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. So that gets you through that. I'm not going to have time to connect with you and get over to Royce's tonight. Wednesdays, I usually have more time, and we would have taken this a lot farther. But this is a good way to introduce the whole idea. Okay. So keep in mind, we're going to put out nominations, 4 nominations each. Twice, 8 nominations for each of 13 subgenres. Okay? And from those winners, the top 2 winners in each 26 will give us 52. We have 13, that's 55. What? 65. We'll have 65 bands and or artists in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. And guess what, folks? Only you can make this happen. And I want to appreciate, I want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you here tonight. Okay, so it's you who are going to make this happen. We've already gotten, I'm sure, over 1,000 votes by now, I would imagine, on the first part of the poll. It's still saying 987, but I haven't connected in. And it was near 500 on the other, and this is from an hour or 2 ago. If you guys refresh your page, I just can't without shouting the stream down. So we're off to a strong start, and I'm going to bring these out in a measured sort of way. You might get part 3 before I crash out tonight. Okay? I want to give each subgenre and each part plenty of time to draw a crowd, because when it gets down 5 or 6, you have to slide down 5 or 6 places to get to vote for Jethro Tull. The votes do start to slow down once they get buried into the poll. But keep this in mind, and this is very important. Every single one of these parts are active until I call the whole enchilada off. Until I say no more voting, your votes count. So in a week from now, say you just watch this replay and it's a week later. I do get occasional views a week later, right? And you're going, oh man, I'm sorry I missed this. No, you didn't. If the poll is still going and I haven't called it off, zip on down to part 1 and start voting your way in, all 26 parts, to the very last moment. This is the first time I've ever conducted a poll like this. And each part gets 2 winners. And each of the next 24 parts will be heavily influenced by how you have responded to this tonight. Kimberly's been taking screenshots, okay? And how you respond to this in the replay. I'll be looking at the comments and I get enough votes for a car, I'll take off one of my suggestions and I'll put yours right on in. Honest gumption. Okay? I want this to be an honest idea of regular folks who just love classic rock, and I'm tired of it taking a back seat to LL Cool Beam and Melissa Farzo. I'm sick of it, man. And we got to get past that. We got to take our own art form by the balls and take it back for ourselves, right? Because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame gave it away, sold it for I don't know how many beans, and a promise for a beanstalk to get to a castle and get a golden goose. That's about what they're worth. Can't stand them, man. And that's you, John Sykes. You never know. The dude might hear about it. All right? Your reinvention of rock and roll don't do diddly squat to a whole lot of us. But you don't care. We're older now. We won't be around forever. About the time we pass away, you'll be old now, John. Dumb shit. Okay, folks, I enjoyed it tonight. I even got to go off the rails there a little bit. I always like it when I get to go off the rails a little bit, Kimberly.
I know.
I know. I'm a shit disturber.
But
there's always that part of me that always just wants to.
I know.
Well, I'll tell you
is
why.
Very edgy. He's edgy.
I am, because I'll tell you why.
And
there was
intense.
a time when I was a good little
Very
boy,
intense.
and I played by the rules, and I had people use the rules against me, break the rules against me, and I said, well, enough of that fucking shit. That ain't happened no more. And so if I don't like something out of somebody's mouth, I'll just say it right there. Whoa, hey, hold on. What did you just say?
Yeah.
You know? And I'm a lot happier for it. A lot more stressed out sometimes, but generally, I hate, don't you guys? Don't you hate having to stuff your personality deep inside every damn time you go to work? Or that you meet a group of friends and, oh, there's that guy over there, Or even family members for that part. I just decided enough of that is enough. And I'd pretty much just say what's on my mind. I don't try to be hurtful. But if you say a hurtful thing to me, well, I expect, a touche at the very least. All right, I'm going to be over at the Four Horsemen here. It is now 6:05 for all intents and purposes. 25 minutes, we're going to be talking about all the rockers that are going to be touring in 2026. Oh, Jesus. God almighty. And I'm sure we'll be talking about residencies. Well, you've got to, I'll be the odd man out tonight, I think, on the panel, because I'm not a fan of either. And I think that that'll be cool to get that into the conversation. I promise to behave myself, Royce. Honest to God. All right, brother. I'll see you in about 25 minutes. I'll see the rest of you in about 25 minutes, if only you would go on over there. By the way, you're wondering who is the Four Horsemen. Maybe this is the first time you've heard of them. Maybe this is the first time you got into this. Just go to my channel page. All right, click my channel page. Go all the way down, and you'll see the Four Horsemen there. Click on that. It'll take you right to Royce's channel, and you'll see his new stream that is up at 6:30. That is in 25 minutes. All right, folks, I enjoyed myself, and until I get a remote control, that means I have to uncomfortably get out of my chair, walk around here, and grumble while I turn off the camera. We'll see you on Wednesday at 5 p.m., and we'll carry this on at least a bit. But it's going to be, we may dedicate the whole stream to really flushing this out. Maybe the first couple of streams. It depends what the news of the day and what I feel like talking about that night. But there'll always be a bit of reporting, and I want to keep you guys current on what's happening. And on Wednesday, I'll get to listen and read some of your fine comments, a lot more than I did tonight, okay? All of you have given my stream a thumbs up. Thank you so much. All of you who came here to view, thank you even more. The thumbs up are nice. But I do it for you guys, the viewers. I hope we gave you some entertaining. I hope we gave you some information. I hope, more than anything, that we gave you some hope tonight. All right, I'll see you in about a half hour, folks. Good night.